How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Discover Wellness with Dr. David. Today, here we're going to talk about some quick hacks that you can do to replace some items in your diet that may be high calorie, and you might not know exactly what to do to replace them because you might not want to live without them. So, we're going to go over some of those things today. All right, so there's this awesome product called Miracle Noodles, and they also make rice as well. But they are very cool because they're made out of something called shirataki noodles. And as far as the nutrition goes on them, they contain little to no calories, but you can cook them in noodle meals. It's really delicious. They absorb flavors of whatever you cook it with. It has a very similar consistency to rice noodles, but if there are noodle meals that you've been missing, and you're trying to cut out some of the bread and just trying to cut out some of the calories in general, this is a really awesome option. They also have a little bit of dietary fiber, and so they contain little to no calories. It's a pretty awesome option. They're very filling. I highly recommend it. And then something else, if you like to put sugar in your coffee, or you put sugar in a lot of baking things, and you want something to maybe use a little bit less sugar, stevia is 300 times sweeter than sugar, and so you really don't have to use much of this stuff, and it's very cheap. I've had one of these bottles, and it's lasted me over a year. So this is 300 times sweeter than sugar. It's very inexpensive. I've had this last me over a year, and it's a really good option if you're trying to cut down some of the sugar and ease some of that sugar dependency. So if you like to put sugar in your tea or your coffee, this is a really awesome option to switch that out and not have to use artificial sweeteners like sucralose or Splenda or something like that. Data is a little bit inconclusive of how bad it may be for you, but there is some data that it may affect your gut biome. And of course, we've talked about how important that is. So I always avoid it when possible. And so stevia is a very good option. And then another option, if you're somebody who really likes cheese like myself,
I like that too.
But if you're looking for an option that might have a little bit less fat than cheese, they do sell reduced fat cheese, and I highly recommend that as well. But there's also this thing called nutritional yeast flakes. I'd recommend getting non-fortified, just so it has all of the natural nutrients that come in their natural forms, and not these synthetic vitamins that they basically put on it to give it even more. But it is already very high in lots of different nutrients and minerals. And so there's no need to fortify it. You're already getting all sorts of good minerals out of this and micronutrients that you may not be getting from other foods, especially if you don't eat a lot of leafy greens.
It's good for you, dude. You got it.
You'll get a lot of folate and very, very cool things that are not rare in a lot of foods. And so the cool thing about this, though, is it tastes just like cheese. And so I like to put it in my eggs. It's an excellent option. So 2 rounded teaspoons, which is a decent amount to go on, depending on what you're making. If you're making things that are going to be spread out over, a big family, then you might want to use a little bit more than that. But if you're just making something that you're going to eat, 2 tablespoons is good enough for I've seen recipes online where individuals make mac and cheese with this, but it's very low calorie, has all sorts of different vitamins and folate and B vitamins, which is very rare in plant sources as well. And you get riboflavin and more than your recommended daily limit, which isn't a bad thing, but you may not be getting it from some of the other foods. And so these are really awesome options. It's very, very cheap as well. Amazon has their own brand of it here.
Nice.
Non-fortified as well. And so I highly recommend that. It's they bake the yeast, and so it's not living. It's not going to leaven bread if you try to use it to do that. So let us know down in the comments if there are any tips or tricks that you have that you've used to replace some of your high-calorie foods that you eat, or used to eat, I should say, replacements for ice cream, or give all of your ideas down below. That's going to help everybody out. And of course, remember to share this with all of your friends and family that you think might be able to benefit from this information as well. And so everybody stay safe and be healthy and have a great day.